Do you ever sit down to finish one simple task, and somehow, an hour later, you're still working on it? You check your phone, open another tab, answer a message, take a quick break. Then you look at the clock and wonder, where did all that time go? The problem may not be that you're lazy. You may simply have habits that make simple work take much longer than it should.
The good news is, you don't always need more motivation. You don't need to work late every night, and you definitely don't need to work harder. You need to work smarter. Here are the first 4 habits that can help you finish your work faster. Habit number 1, start with one clear task. One of the biggest productivity mistakes is starting your day by thinking about everything you need to do. Emails, messages, meetings, projects, small tasks, big tasks, big tasks. Your brain sees the entire list, and suddenly everything feels overwhelming. Instead, ask yourself one simple question. What is the most important thing I need to finish first? For example, don't tell yourself, I need to work on my project. Make it specific. I will finish the first section of the project. A clear target gives your brain a finish line, and once you know exactly what you're trying to complete, getting started becomes much easier.
Task isn't enough, because there's another habit that can quietly destroy your focus. Habit number 2, stop switching between tasks. You start writing an email,
then a notification appears. You check it. While you're there, you see another message. You answer that. Then you remember something else you need to do. Suddenly, you're working on 5 things at once. It feels productive, but you're constantly moving your attention from one task to another. Instead, try something simple. Finish one task before jumping to the next.
If you're writing, write. If you're studying, study. If you're answering emails, answer the emails. Protect your attention like it's valuable.
because it is. The fewer times you switch, the easier it becomes to stay in the flow. But what if you still can't get yourself to start? That's where the third habit comes in.
Habit number 3, use the 5-minute start. Sometimes the hardest part of a task isn't doing it, it's starting. You look at a complicated project and think, this is going to take forever. So you put it off. Then you put it off again. Instead, make the task ridiculously easy to start. Tell yourself, I'll work on this for just 5 minutes. That's it.
You don't have to finish the entire project. You don't even have to feel motivated. Just start. Open the document. Write the first sentence. Read the first page.
Organize the first few items. Once you begin, the task often feels much easier than it did in your head. Starting creates momentum, and momentum can carry you much further than motivation. But there's another simple technique that can make you even more focused, and it has to do with time. Habit number 4, give yourself a time limit. Try this. Instead of saying,
I'll finish this sometime today, say, I'm going to work on this for the next 30 minutes. Now your brain has a clear window. There's less room for endless scrolling.
Unnecessary research, or making tiny decisions that don't really matter. A time limit creates urgency. It also helps you notice when you're spending far too much time on something. For example, if you give yourself 30 minutes to write a simple email, you are much less likely to spend 2 hours making it perfect. And that's important, because sometimes the biggest thing slowing you down isn't distraction. It's trying to make everything perfect. And that's exactly what we'll talk about next. Habit number 5, remove tiny distractions. You don't always lose an hour to one big distraction.
Sometimes, you lose it 1 minute at a time. A notification, a quick text, one social media check, one unnecessary email, one random search.
Each one seems harmless. But every time you break your focus, you have to spend energy getting back into the task. So before you start important work, make distractions harder to reach.
Put your phone away, turn off unnecessary notifications, close tabs you don't need, and keep only the tools required for the task in front of you. Don't depend on willpower when you can, because the easiest distraction to resist is the one you never see. But there's another mistake that can waste even more of your best energy, and most people make it every single morning. Habit number 6, do your hardest task when your energy is highest. Not all hours of the day are equal. There are probably certain times when your mind feels sharp,
And other times when you feel slow and distracted. Use your best mental hours for your most important work. If you're naturally more focused in the morning, don't spend that time scrolling through emails.
Use it for the task that requires the most thinking. Save simple tasks for later, because answering messages doesn't require the same mental energy as solving a difficult problem.
It's to manage your energy. But even with good energy, one habit can turn a simple task into an endless project, and that's perfectionism. Habit number 7, stop trying to make everything perfect.
Imagine you have a simple report to finish. You write it, then rewrite it, change one sentence, change it again, adjust tiny details nobody will notice. And suddenly, a task that should have taken 30 minutes takes 3 hours. Doing quality work is important, but perfection isn't always necessary. Ask yourself, does this need to be perfect, or does it simply need to be done well? Sometimes 90% unfinished. Set a reasonable standard, do the important parts properly.
Then move on. Because productivity isn't about making every task flawless tomorrow much easier. And there's one final because it removes the biggest question people face when they start a new day.
Where do I begin? Habit number 8, end with a next step list. Before you finish your workday, take 2 minutes. Write down 3 things. What is unfinished? What is the next action? And what should you start with tomorrow? This sounds simple, but it removes a huge amount of mental friction. Instead of waking up tomorrow thinking, where do I start? You already have the answer. You simply continue from where you stopped. And remember, the goal isn't to fill every minute of your day with work.
The goal is to make the time you actually spend working more effective, the real secret to finishing faster. Let's quickly review the 8 habits.
Start with one clear task. Stop constantly switching between tasks. Use the 5-minute start. Give yourself a time limit. Remove tiny distractions. Do your hardest work when your energy is highest. Stop trying to make everything perfect, and finish your day by planning your next step. None of these habits require you to work longer. They simply help you waste less time.
Because working faster doesn't mean rushing. It means removing the things that slow you down. You don't need more hours. You need fewer things stealing the hours you already have. And once
you can get more important work done without feeling like you're working all day. And before you go, tell me in the comments, which habit wastes the most time for you? Distractions, multitasking, or procrastination? Simple productivity and self-improvement strategies. See you in the next video.